Before anyone outside Thailand knew her name, the internet had already turned her into a stereotype, 17 years old, found deceased in a suitcase in Pattaya, Thailand. That was enough for thousands of strangers to write the rest of her story themselves. I read what her own family and her own friends actually said. In Thai, not translated, not summarized secondhand, and almost everything people assume about this girl in the last month is wrong. Her name was Tunchanok. Everyone who loved her called her Cake. She grew up in Kalasin, a farming province in Thailand's northeast, nowhere near Pattaya, nowhere near its reputation. Her father raised her alone, no mother to raise her. In her father's words, that meant she learned to find her own way for herself, and that she always looked out for him too. According to her father, after her passing, money was tight enough at home that Cake left school to help her family. She worked as a server. That was her job. That's what she did. Because of her family's situation and her own need, she dropped out of school to work in Pattaya. She normally only worked as a server. Something worth understanding if you have never lived here: Thailand does not have the kind of old age safety net many Westerners think. The government allowance for elderly citizens without a pension comes to somewhere between 600 and 1,000 baht a month, depending on age. That's under $1 a day. For many rural Thai families, support does not come from the state, it comes from the children. That is why young and older people leave provinces for cities and tourist towns, not because they are bad people, because the job is there. Relatives say this trip to Pattaya was her first and something different. 9 days, she had come to stay with a friend and to finally see the ocean for the first time in her life. Maybe both things are true. A girl who already had to grow up faster than most, taking 9 days that were just for her to see something she had never seen before. But she never got the chance to go back home and tell anyone how it felt. CCTV timestamp 2:50 a.m. that night shows the first moment. Not the beach, a street beside it, a group of young people and a foreign man on foot alone walking toward them. If this had been the simple transaction other headlines said, the footage would look different. She would be standing at the beach road waiting for customers over minutes later in a hotel minute away, not a walk toward where a man actually lives. She wasn't doing that, even if a price was discussed that night. And by his own account, price was discussed, but that doesn't make this a deal between two adults. She was just 17. A grown man offering a child money, I don't think that is a transaction. A friend was worried enough at that moment to pull out her phone. 5 silent seconds. That's all the video of her walking away with him. What filled the rest of that hour, nobody knows. What's certain is where it ended. At 3:30 a.m. that same evening, they walked into his building together. She texted a friend when she arrived. His room is messy, she wrote. Police say the two of them had agreed on a price, 1,000 baht, about 40 Australian dollars. When he offered her only 500, they argued. He has told police it was self-defense, that she came at him with a knife. What he's also told them, said investigator, he cut off her air until she stopped moving. Not a struggle that went wrong in an instant, long enough to know exactly what was happening and not stop. She was deceased before sunrise. On the 9th day of the first trip she had ever taken to see the ocean. Let's go back to that price. 1,000 baht, but 500 baht was offered, which caused an argument she didn't survive. That had been told in the media everywhere. The only person who has ever said she offered anything intimate for money is the man who unalived her. Not a witness, not a friend, not her messages from her phone from him, said the police from his own interrogation. That doesn't mean it's not true. It means there is no evidence and is being treated as fact anyway, because a deceased girl can't correct the record, and he is. It wouldn't change anything if it was true. Under Thai law, what he's charged with includes taking a minor for indecent purposes, paid or not. She was just 17. There is no version of that night, paid or unpaid, willing or not, where what happened to her afterward was okay or defensible. Payment disputes end in refunds, in arguments, in someone walking away. not like this. Her father said one thing and it's been twisted since. He said that because she had no mother, she learned to find her own way and that she always helped him too. Some people online decided that meant she was selling herself, or worse, that he had sent her to do it. What the father said had nothing in it about sex, just a father missing his daughter, saying she was resourceful and she was kind. For most of that day, nothing about Simon looked wrong. Police say she may have already been unalive for hours by the time neighbors saw him having breakfast. From 3:30 a.m. until around 9 p.m. that night, cameras caught him doing exactly what anyone does on an ordinary day, buying food, talking to people in the lobby, doing his laundry. At 9 p.m. that changed. He left the building with a suitcase, not through the front doors he had walked through with her, holding her hand. This time through the back. He placed the suitcase on the back of his motorbike and rode off to a railway track that runs through Pattaya city. Later, a local resident remembered watching a foreigner ride back and forth on that road that night and thinking it looked strange, riding against traffic, hugging the wrong edge, the grass side instead of the footpath. He disappeared from camera for over 9 minutes. When he rode back past again, the suitcase was gone. At some point after that, once Cake had gone quiet too long, her friend went to check on her with someone in authority, not police yet. The friend went to Simon's room. He let them into the room, told them Cake had already left. To both of them in that moment, nothing looked wrong. By then, whatever had been in that room the night before wasn't there anymore. Still worried, the friend went to file a missing person report and handed police that 5-second clip, along with the exact location Cake had sent her. At 2:23 that afternoon, CCTV shows Simon leaving the building alone, with a backpack this time, not a suitcase, heading to the airport in Bangkok. By 5 p.m., police were in that room themselves, this time trained to look for it. What they found? Signs of a struggle. No Simon, no Cake. There's no camera at the exact spot where he left her. No city CCTV coverage. The route leading up to it is a different story. Private cameras and a witness who remembered something odd. That's how police narrowed it down. Finding the actual spot in that grass still took real physical work. This is not normal. I've seen Thai friends file a police report and get nothing back but a piece of paper confirming they reported it. It moved this fast because of how serious it was, not because that's how it usually works. Simon entered Thailand on a tourist visa back in December 2025, then extended his stay legally. No overstay on record, no criminal history here before this. None of that mattered once the alert went out looking for him. Thailand's Immigration Bureau flagged him nationwide, and by around 7 p.m., less than 2 hours after that empty room, they'd found him at that airport about to fly home. Officers noticed scratches on his neck and arms. They asked him one direct question: "Where's the suitcase you left with?" He couldn't answer it. That was enough to bring him back to Pattaya for formal questioning instead of letting him board. Back at the Pattaya police station, shown the full CCTV record, the suitcase, the scooter, the 9 minutes off camera, the ride back without it, his story kept changing. The scratches were from a fight with a friend, he said. Then they were spiders at the condominium. Just after 11 p.m. that night, using less than 5 hours of footage, police found the suitcase itself. He faces charges that include her unaliving, concealing and moving a body, and taking a minor for indecent purposes. He's currently held at Pattaya Remand Prison. Thai prosecutors have an 84-day deadline from arrest to submit the case. He denies all of it. She went home to Kalasin. The funeral was held in Buddhist tradition. Her father had less than 100 baht in his pocket when it was time to bring her back. A Thai TV host heard about it live on air and started raising money right there on the spot. Cake spent years finding ways to help her family. That didn't stop after she passed. Strangers who never met her helped bring her home too. A daughter, that's what she was. That's what this was always about. A preliminary exam already points to the same cause described earlier. Full forensic results, including skin recovered from underneath her fingernails, are still pending. No trial date yet. If convicted, he faces life imprisonment or the highest penalty under Thai law. Thailand hasn't actually carried one out since 2018, and most sentences that reach that point get commuted on appeal. Whatever her family is hoping for, the honest version is that this moves slowly from here, not quickly. Before a single fact was confirmed, this had already become a story about a Thai girl who shouldn't have been out that late, who should have known better, who somehow invited what a grown man chose to do to her. None of that happened. What happened is worse. A father raised a daughter alone, and she helped him back. She left school because her family needed her too. She went 9 days to finally see the ocean, and a man twice her age, more than double her size, decided her life was worth less 500 baht. The internet had weeks to get her story right. It didn't. This is what actually happened to Cake from the people who knew her, not the thousands of strangers who wrote the rest of her story. Subscribe for more Thailand from the inside, not the tourist version. And this was not the first Pattaya case where the international headline was only the beginning. In another case, a wealthy German broker disappeared, and police later found the truth hidden inside a freezer. That full story is on screen now. Watch that next.